Hello, this is Patrick. Welcome to Chart Built Wealth, profitable investing with technical analysis. Happy Memorial Day. I wanted to give you an update on our buy recommendations. It was a really good week, and let's get into it. The bearish call on the S&P 500. Last week I said, you know what, I'm not taking my stop off because we had a little bit of a break above our stop at 5,800. And so far, that's been a good decision. This week, the market was down 2.5%. And again, I feel like this was a little bit overdone. But let's take a look at this is a weekly chart. Each bar represents a week. We're going to take a look at a shorter term outlook of the daily chart. Each bar will represent a day. And so, here's where we went bearish, went neutral, went bullish, went bearish again, too early, obviously. And so here we are. This was where we closed uh, on Friday at 58.02. So I'm maintaining my bearish rating. We currently have a rising wedge formation, which is bearish. It goes against the bigger trend if that's the case. Certainly looks like it to me. So staying bearish on the S&P 500, and we'll monitor that. Futures, the seasonality is suggesting that the market in early June should turn down and kind of struggle until October. Again, seasonality is just a tendency, but I thought I would show this for you, the viewers. Okay, so I have three commodity holdings that I'm recommending. I have platinum, I have copper, and I have silver, and all three had a good week when the market was down. And I just want to stress that commodities, I feel, are going to be the big winner. Similar to, I think our situation is similar to the 70s, where commodities, we had a boom in commodity prices and equity prices were not very good. And so I encourage you to get some exposure to some of these suggestions. These are ETFs that you can buy just like you buy a stock. PPLT is a symbol. And again, these are no more volatile than NVIDIA or any other tech, tech stocks that you want to buy or small cap stocks, startups, or whatever. So I just encourage you to have some in your portfolio. So this is a monthly chart. Each one of these bars represents a month. After this big downtrend, it went sideways and wound up tight. I said last week when this thing breaks out, it's going to break out in a big way. And whichever way it breaks out, and it broke out to the upside of 13% for the week. And so, this consolidation is suggesting a 141 price projection, and we're at 100. You don't get those kind of opportunities a lot. Let's take a closer look at this. And here we are. So we had a big breakout on massive volume, which you want to see on a breakout. You want to see a lot of follow through with investors buying. So this is good. But what was I doing last week? As it went up, I'm selling a few shares. I'm selling a few shares. So this is a weekly chart. Each bar represents a week. Let's take a look at the daily chart because there was a smaller pattern that made me strongly suggest buying platinum last week. And we have a small few weeks, maybe 6 weeks in the making, a small inverse, bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern, like a man or woman hanging upside down. Prices were here. I said if it breaks out, the price projection is 119 on the small pattern, 141 on the bigger pattern. And sure enough, it broke out. And then we had two big updates. So what am I doing on these updates? I'm selling a few shares. If I had 100 shares, maybe I sold 10 shares, maybe 5 shares on this big update, 5 shares on that update. And you look at this, you had massive volume on Friday in platinum, way bigger than that prior days. So that looks like a little bit too euphoric for me, and people are chasing. So, if it's down 1.5% on Monday, I'll buy maybe five of those shares back. And if it's down again, I'll buy those other five shares back. And, if it's down again, I'll buy more because I want to build my position even larger. So, still bullish on platinum, but I think it's a little bit overdone short term. Copper, this is a big 15-year pattern. These are massive patterns. There's a smaller triangle within this 15-year ascending triangle. And let's take a look at it. This is a monthly chart. Let's take a look at from 2022 on. And here we have it. It had a slight break above it. We've had a couple failed attempts before, so that doesn't mean a lot. Within this triangle, this smaller triangle was suggesting a $34 price projection, and this one is intact. So I am expecting higher prices here, and this is where we change from neutral back to bullish. So all that looks good. Point and figure chart is also agreeing with us. This is the least subjective chart, and it's just supply and demand. We got our bullish trend line, and we have a $49 price projection. And the good thing is it's pulled back from that breakout, so it's giving you a chance to buy it, not at its highs. Silver also looks great. Again, a massive pattern. This one's been kind of quiet lately, but it looks like it's getting ready to perk up again. This is a monthly chart. The price projection on this is 64. We're currently at 30. So that's a double, more than a double. Let's take a look at the smaller part. And I was saying last week there was a very small consolidation, 2, 3 weeks in the making, and I was going to put my stop right here at 29 because if it broke down from there, we'd see it go down the distance of the base of the triangle, maybe to 2750 or something, and I didn't want to ride that down, but instead it broke upwards, and so it held its stop, and we even got a little pullback, a chance to buy a few more shares. And so what did I do? On Friday, I sold, a couple of shares, nothing big, because it's not up that much. We're not overbought, none of that, but that's just a habit I like to get into. Antero Resources, natural gas company, also has a little bit of oil, but mostly natural gas. Again, a 2.5-year pattern with a price projection of 63, and we're currently at 40. That's 50% potential upside. And the point and figure also is suggesting 59. So, they're going in the same direction, and I like that. EXCELON, this one has a little bit of hair on it. Again, a 2.5-year pattern, price projection 51. When I got up to 48, I said, we're really almost there, but I'm going to maintain the buy rating. But, what do I do on these up weeks when we have the updates sent out to you? I'd say, you should be selling, you should be selling. And then, a couple of weeks ago, I said I'd start to buy, start to buy. We had a bullish hammer last week at this 2 weeks ago, which is really a good sign. But short term, we got possibly a little bit more weakness, which, and here's why. So on the daily chart, we have a rainbow convergence, a bearish rainbow convergence. The convergence is above price. Prices came back to that, stopped right at the convergence so far. And according to Tom McClellan, this is a type 2 convergence, which promises a lower low. So we'll see if that transpires. We did have a bullish hammer on Friday on the daily chart. But again, once this broke below the moving averages, I was a seller on this up thing on the 3, 4 updates that we had because of this convergence. And I talked about that. And the point and figure is suggesting a little bit more weakness. China, bullish on China. The chart looks great. bullish channel here, support, resistance. We're pretty much in the middle of that. Fixed income. This is still intact, this bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern. There's your neckline, suggests a 103 price projection. We're currently at 94. This is the ETF. You can buy this like a stock, IEF. They believe it pays like a 4% dividend, and it gives you a monthly 1/12 of that. And for cash, T-bill, this is an ETF. You buy it like a stock, TBIL. It's a 3 month treasury, so it has very low volatility, which I like. And here we are. Pays you a 4% dividend. I believe it goes ex-dividend like May 29th or something, and it gives you a 12th of that 4 plus dividend. Thank you for watching Chart Built Wealth, Profitable Investing with Technical Analysis. Please like and subscribe. Have a great Memorial Day. Adios.